right, we're recording Chronicles on the fly, and it's been a great start to the morning because just about to start the podcast, and I've spilt coffee all over my legs, my pants, and my chair. So well done, Simon. Brilliant.
Well done, Simon. G'day, everyone.
The worst tragedy about that is I've lost my coffee. So
Told you to make another one.
I've got to. Well, now I've got to wait till after we finish doing the podcast, and I can go downstairs and make a new one.
So what's been going on this week?
Oh, just work. Not, like I was telling you before, I've hardly paid attention to anything that's been going on in the world. Sometimes that's a good thing.
No, it is actually a good thing. Same with me. I've been pretty busy working myself. A lot of people want a JobKeeper. I'm getting a million questions about JobKeeper this week. So all I've been doing actually is...
Everyone wants their cash.
Yes. Actually, a lot of businesses are starting to hurt out there now.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see... I'm seeing a few, like, before the money was still coming in, people were still paying bills because the old accounts and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's starting. And no, I'm really seeing hurting, to be honest, is the landlords. A lot of my clients are landlords. They're
of commercial properties.
Commercial properties.
Yeah.
Yep. So, one particular client who's got a tenant who happens to be in the hospitality industry, they're already 5 months behind, and now they're going to be another 6 months behind.
So what's the story with in commercial rentals? Are landlords allowed to boot tenants out? How's that working?
I don't think they can for 6 months. I think 6 months they're still entitled to stay there
without receiving a dollar.
Pretty much, as long as they can prove that they've been affected by COVID-19, with an up to 50% reduction in rent. Well, we'll tell that to the bank. Unfortunately, this poor guy has got the bank screaming down his neck. They still want their full margin. They haven't adjusted anything because it's coming near the end of his term. You see, so they're not going to do anything. Yeah, it's pretty tough out there for a lot of guys.
The last few podcasts, I don't think we've done a COVID-19 WA stats check-in. What are we up to today?
Well, there was no cases yesterday, so...
No new cases yesterday. You know where I've found a decent source, just to find the quick stat, is Mark McGowan's Twitter feed. It's pretty much all he posts. Once per day, just posts, I think it's at the end of the day, if I'm right. Just posts the latest stats for the day. And that seems to be it. So, yeah. For Friday, 1st of May, which was yesterday, obviously, the stats from Mr. Premier are 0 new cases, 32 active cases. 32 active cases in the biggest region in the world. Is that right? WA is the biggest...
One of the biggest states, yeah.
Of any state or region, land mass-wise. 511 cases have been recovered. 8 deaths. 551 confirmed cases, so that's including active and recovered and deaths. And 16 from unknown sources. Just over 41,000 people have been tested and do not have it. So, 32 cases in WA. It's just going down every day, isn't it?
It's going, well, how many this week? Two cases, and they're both to do with overseas. One was with a boat. And one...
It just seems like it won't be long until there's no cases left, and then what happens?
Or are they going to shut us down, or they're going to open it up, or they're going to keep it closed?
Well, they've made such a hoo-ha about everything, and it's going to look stupid if they just, let's say 2-3 weeks' time, it's kind of all but over, which on those stats it kind of looks like it is all but over. And then what are they going to do? Oh, don't worry about your JobKeeper and all that kind of stuff. Let's just, continue on as normal. The thing is, they're just keeping all the states kind of in line as much as possible, it seems. So I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to kind of act as if it still is a large issue, I think.
Yes. I think they have to. I think they really want to wipe it out, but until a vaccine's readily available.
So you reckon there's going to be this working from home and self-isolation, even if we have 0 cases in WA until there's a vaccine?
Well, I reckon self-isolation is going to be in for a while. That's my opinion.
But even if there's,
or social distancing, I should say. Social distancing is going to be in for a while.
Even if there's, 0 or just a handful of cases in the whole state?
We don't know. Who knows the way the government thinks these days? But look at it this way: what are they going to do with the football? You know, AFL's talking coming back. Obviously, they're going to have a whole season with no one in the stadiums. Imagine having a grand final with no one in the stadium.
Just right off the season, I reckon. Honestly,
yeah, but they won't do it because of the broadcast rights. As simple as that. They're worth too much money.
At this point, I just don't really care whether they play or not. It's just the interest is, for me anyway, has waned.
Mm. Well, you're wearing your West Coast. You're wearing your West Coast Eagles stuff.
I am wearing my old Eagles members shirt, but I've got a new one. I just ordered a new one. I'm waiting for it to be delivered. So thanks, West Coast Eagles Superstore.
Yeah, well, you got to thank for Australia Post because they have been absolutely abhorrent lately during this COVID-19. Delivery times have been an absolute joke. I waited 3 weeks to get a delivery from Queensland. Nearly a month to get a delivery from New South Wales. I mean, I was like, are you serious? I was like, what is going on?
Is that because they got extra work to do or less staff?
Oh, I can't answer that. So, yeah, Australia Post, not
the most efficient organisation at the best of times, you could say.
Far from it. And now they've reduced deliveries to, is it every second day to your house?
Is it? Oh, well. Well, I've been getting my Amazon orders. You know, I got a few things that I like on a subscription order every month or every second month. And they seem to come fairly on time. And if they're a week late or so, it doesn't really, they're not noticed. And I'm talking things like nappies, baby wipes, things like that.
Or the essentials.
Toilet paper even. I've always had, not always, but long before this, toilet paper crisis started and everything.
Actually, I wonder what's happened to the toilet. I haven't been to the shops in a while.
I'm getting to that. I was getting, like large packs of toilet paper delivered. It's just easier. I always thought it was easier. And, it would be like every second month I'd get it ordered in bulk. So that I think that they had to skip 1 month recently, which didn't affect me. And then a couple of weeks ago, an order came. So, yeah, no trouble there. But, the toilet paper crisis. I went to Coles the other day and absolutely chock-a-block full.
Oh, well.
It looked like no one had touched toilet paper off the shelves for a month.
Well, I don't think they have to touch toilet paper. Everyone's ordered it for that long.
Exactly. I just laughed. I was almost going to take a photo of it and send it to all my mates. Check this out, because that's what people were doing when the shelves were empty.
I went a couple of weeks ago to a local IGA and they were still out. Not that I needed anything, just walked past it because I happened to be walking past it. Oh, okay, this must be the toilet paper.
All right. Well, as I said, I've barely been taking notice of any news this week because I've just been head down, bum up with work. But you had a few things, so maybe you can lead the way in topics today.
I was just thinking what your thoughts were on the mining magnate, Mr. Andrew Forrest, inviting the Chinese Victorian consul to the press conference with Greg Hunt. I don't think personally that was a very good move. I understand what he's trying to do because you don't want to upset your apple cart, your biggest customer. But in saying that, you don't sabotage the press conference of the federal minister.
So it was Greg Hunt's
press conference.
Press conference.
He was doing, I believe it was something to do with the Minderoo Foundation.
Oh, that's Twiggy Forrest Foundation.
Yeah, and then he invited the consul from the Victorian consul. So
kind of high. Was it the Chinese ambassador? Who was it?
Yeah, China. Yeah, the consul general of Victoria.
Okay,
for China. So
and just
each state's got a consul general. So
just all of a sudden announced him on stage, and the guy kind of hijacked.
Oh, I didn't even what said. I was like, I just saw the reports. I was like, really, Twiggy? I mean, really, Andrew? Come on.
Basically, it was pro-China propaganda.
Oh well, I think to an extent.
But you got to look at. That's absolutely wrong if Greg Hunt didn't know that was going to happen at his own press conference.
That's right there. My issue is not so much that the Chinese guy was there. It is what it is. But my issue is specifically why wasn't the minister informed that there was going to be a representative from the People's Republic of China talking at the press conference, his press conference,
especially at the time in this time when it seems like the Australian and Chinese governments are butting heads over having a review or inquiry about how this coronavirus began. which seems logical to do.
And I think that was the second time Forrest has done that, because he did it with Roger Cook here as well. So with the WA Consul General, Madam Dong.
From Andrew Forrest's perspective, right? So he's the head of Fortescue Metals Group, and who's his client? He's got one client, China, right?
China.
Where else does his metal go to? His iron ore go to?
And I get his point. You don't want to upset that. But no, I understand, and I totally get that you need China-Australia relations. You don't want to strain them, but they're going to be fair. That's what I believe. Because it's like, at the end of the day, there was no need for the consul to be present at that meeting.
So, in the current context of the two countries' governments butting heads over this, virus review type of thing, it makes Forrest look like a shill for the Chinese government.
Well, it does in a way, but again, look, I understand what he's trying to do. He's protecting his vested interest, and I get that. But there's ways to do it, and there's ways probably not to. I don't think he did it the right way. There you go.
Well, what specifically did the ambassador or whatever he was
I don't think there was anything specific, but it's just the way, we come to a crisis that initially there was this whole virus come from China. So it's kind of a bit weird that you'd be thanking the Chinese for supplying you with PPE for a virus they created.
Yeah, well, that goes to the arsonist is holding the fire hose, right? which we called one of our episodes a few episodes back.
Yeah. So and also Kerry Stokes got involved again. I'm like, guys, just don't get involved. It's not your
Kerry Stokes. What did he have to do?
Kerry. I think he said something about China as well. I think he basically told the Prime Minister not to poke the bear too much, the Chinese bear. I was like, well, he's not poking. I mean, I can understand his frustration, the Prime Minister's frustration with the whole situation. You can understand that. So
Stokes worried that China's going to start a war with Australia, or even an economic war.
Probably, but I can understand Mr. Stokes because he's got a vested interest too.
What are his interests?
Well, Westtrack supplies all the machines to the mines. Who the mine supplier? So obviously he's got a vested interest too, hasn't he? So I also like how, off the subject there, how the billionaires are amazingly able to fly to Victoria and not being quarantined.
So this press conference was in Victoria?
Correct.
So Forrest has flown over there, okay.
Obviously, he come from Perth, so he's gone there. So what happened to his 14-day mandatory quarantine?
Like we were saying, was it last week we were saying? Some billionaires are more equal than others.
I think it's everyone's equal, just some more than others, as the great book Animal Farm states.
Troughs in the snout. Snouts in the trough, I should say.
I'm not accusing anyone. I just find it, it's a bit... I don't think it's not a good look anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. The President of the United States talking about bleach. Did you see that?
Just snippets, so I don't know the full context. So let me hear it.
Yeah, I don't think he's well portrayed in the media over there. So, and all the reports come from CNN and NBC and ABC.
So what is it about bleach? Is it about being able to inject bleach?
Yeah, because he goes, perhaps you can inject it and kill the virus. But I think he meant that with an element of sarcasm. But of course, the media didn't obviously take it that way. So
was he setting up the media to write that or spread that as fact type of thing coming from him?
Oh, well, I don't think, no. I think he said it sarcastically because in the context of the way the question was asked to him. He replied sarcastically. But either way, as a president of the United States, sarcasm shouldn't get involved.
At a time like this, a press conference that he does daily about the, situation in America, he should not be trying to take the piss.
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, his biggest downfall is going to be the 1%ers. His 1%ers actually crucify him. As in, if he actually stayed off Twitter and didn't make any smart-ass remarks and all these comments, it actually wouldn't be a bad president because if you look at his statistics, they're not actually that bad. His statistics of running the country have been pretty good.
When you look at the fact that he's going to be up against Sleepy Joe Biden, All he needs to do is stay silent and give Biden enough rope to hang himself.
All he's got to do is throw a hook out to Biden, because Biden will take it and swallow it. That's all that's going to happen.
Exactly.
If he's smart, he'll just throw a hook out, say something a bit obscure, and Biden, his response will be, what is he talking about? Because I don't think even people know. He might be asleep when he asks him the question. So it's interesting times. We're interested in 6 months ahead when it comes to the presidential election.
Oh, here's one. Here's one for you. In the AFL, this is one story I sort of did take notice of.
What a joke.
Now that they're going to go back training, over in Victoria, they can only train in groups of 2. But in Australia, in Western Australia, it's more relaxed. They are allowed to congregate in groups of 10. So, in other words, train in groups of 10. However, Victorian AFL clubs complained to the AFL that Western Australian clubs would have an unfair advantage. So the AFL has now restricted Fremantle and West Coast to only remain training in groups of 2 rather than groups of 10, so that they don't get an unfair advantage over Victorian clubs. Can you believe that?
I believe that was started by Richmond, I believe, from what I understand.
Oh, man.
That was from Richmond.
Richmond, who has a run of 7 or 8 games at home leading into final series and don't have to leave their suburb. Unbelievable. It's not unbelievable. It's perfectly believable.
I don't normally agree with Kane Corns, very rarely, but that time there, he was 100%. He was 100% right.
He came out on South Australian radio, smashing that decision. But the thing is, it's in South Australia. But when the voice of dissent is in South Australia or Western Australia, it doesn't hold as much water. You know what I mean? Someone Victorian in Victoria has to stand up and say this is a joke.
Well, Mick Malthouse said it was a joke.
Did he? Okay. Well, that's a good example. Mick Malthouse knows what it's like, the pro-Victorian or Victorian-centric AFL, being that he, coached over in WA for such a long time.
That just proves that the AFL is capitalist in operations, capitalist in nature, but operates in a socialist way.
Exactly.
They don't even care about the money when it comes to the games, but when it comes to the running of it day to day, it's very socialist.
This is what I mean about this AFL. It's just degenerated into a farce. So who cares about this season, mate? Just let it. Whoever wins this season, it just doesn't mean anything.
No, I'll still take it if we win.
You reckon?
I'll still take 100%. I'll take it.
You take it, but it's just not normal.
I'll still take it. End of story. Still take it.
Well, look, at the end of the day, and I was telling you a few weeks ago that they were talking about doing these hubs, and you didn't quite believe me.
No, they reckon now it's not going to happen.
Oh, it's not now.
You said they reckon it's not going to happen. They reckon it's just a joke. Yeah.
Oh, okay, not going to happen. Is this because the players have become crybabies and don't want to go away for a few months?
No, I think it's because the numbers are so low. So that's what they were saying.
What numbers are so low?
Numbers of COVID-19.
In the whole country?
Yeah, in the country have been pretty good. So they were saying they might be able to.
So what? They'll be able to play a normal season then?
Well, they reckon the season will start end of June, early July.
What, and go to December or something?
And go to October, end of October.
What about fans in stadiums?
From what I heard, what the report was, there was no fans at this stage.
That would be a very interesting grand final, wouldn't it? A grand final with no fans in the stadiums.
I watched the games when West Coast played Melbourne. I think it was a bit bland. It was lacking something.
Round 1. Yeah, I told you I didn't even watch the full game. It was like a training drill. Just didn't seem like a real game.
Yeah, it was lacking. But the AFL and all their wisdom and Victorian footballers always make a decision that benefits them. It's like, I still reckon it's sneaky that they signed that contract to all the finals played in Melbourne at the MCG. That went through the radar. Was it till 2045 or 2050 or something? When was that, last year?
Was it last year that was signed?
I think it was last year, yeah. It was a bit sneaky.
I reckon I would love to see like all the interstate teams just break away and form their own league.
Hang on, it would never happen.
I know. And then slowly, like other Victorian clubs would kind of probably trickle over as well.
I think that it needs to be. This is a good time to clean out a bit of deadwood, e.g., the less financially stable clubs.
So being what, North Melbourne,
St Kilda, Western Bulldogs,
merge them or just they go under.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just I just can't see it happening.
How's work going? You been busy?
Finishing up a couple projects, got a couple more on the go.
Has your industry suffered from this? Do you think it's suffered?
That's a good question. My industry, I don't have a lot of contact with other people in my industry. You know what I mean? All my contact is with people in the industries I do work for. So building, construction, cabinetry, renovations, these types of industries. I've got clients in other industries as well, but they're the bulk of it. I suppose you could say my niche area. But, dealing with other people that do web design and that's not entirely true. I mean, I do speak to like a copywriter. She sometimes does work for me. She's suffered a bit. Unfortunately, she's had some cancellations of her own clients. So she had I can't remember who her client was, but a regular, like she was writing regular articles like fortnightly. So that was, good income for her. And they just, as soon as this crisis started, they just called her up and cancelled that on the spot.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, you could say, maybe 30% of her income just stopped dead.
Well, most in my industry have been pretty busy, obviously, due to JobKeeper and everyone worried about. And also comes this time of year where May 15th is a deadline to lodge a tax return, so everyone's pretty busy. But all my clients, again, mixed reports. That's all I can say. It's just mixed. Some people bleeding, dying, nothing. Even in construction, some are dying, and others are like, I was speaking to one particular client, he reckons it's the busiest he's ever been.
I know that my brother's an accountant, and he's had a reduction in his hours, in his weekly hours, and that proportionally to his pay as well, I think. And he said, it's been a lot of answering inquiries from the firm's clients, more so than doing build work that they can bill for.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. All my work's been purely inquiry work. And can you set me for JobKeeper? Do this, do that. How much have I was like, it's all that.
Yeah, but is that something that you are charging for?
Well, we're going to have to make a company decision on that soon. So.
I think so, because if that's all you're doing, doing applications for people for JobKeeper, JobSeeker, or whatever it is, well, that's work. At the end of the day, every individual could do that themselves, couldn't they?
Well, a lot of people haven't got the money, so that's the other issue. What are you going to do, bill them? Not get paid?
Yeah, I understand.
We're in a catch-22. I mean, your brother's firm's a lot larger, a lot more. He's like a tier 1, tier 2 sort of firm, so more. I think his clientele's obviously a lot more bigger than ours. Whereas mum and dad businesses,
you'd have to ask him, but yeah, I think they do have more businesses. Yeah,
completely different. Mine are a lot of mum and dad sort of businesses. Whereas your brothers are like proper large scale, small to medium, or more medium enterprises, as mine are like one man bands. So I think it's a bit different, our clientele.
But look, I've scheduled in a meeting with another prospect for next week. So that's one that came to me rather than me having to go and look for them. So someone who wants to actually start advertising. So I love that when people just grab the bull by the horns. You know what I mean? And just because I spoke to him yesterday and he said that business on the residentials, he's a cabinet maker and does kitchen renovations and that type of thing. And he said he's okay on the commercial side. He's got some builders that he does commercial work for, maintenance work and things like that, and that's ticking over. But he said the residential side has dried up. It's kind of gone flat. But however, I know that the demand is out there. It's just that you've got to go and find it now rather than just wait and let them come to you. So yeah, he's probably going to, start a Facebook advertising campaign to capture leads. Because, like I've told you before, the demand's out there because people are at home. They're looking around. What can we do? DIY jobs in their mind. They're going to Bunnings, emptying shelves at Bunnings, and yeah. So now's the time for home office fit outs are in demand, kitchen renovation jobs and things like that. So hopefully he'll sign on. We'll probably just start do a small campaign for a month as a trial. I'm expecting some good results, like I've previously got for other clients, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see if he wants to actually expand his business. He's only like himself and a few others in his cabinetry workshop, but he wants to expand that, including on the administration side as well. So yeah, there's opportunity out there. You just got to go finding it. It's just, I think a lot of businesses are used to just waiting and letting the demand come to them. But now they've got to be proactive. And the ones that are being proactive are actually getting somewhere.
Yeah, I've sort of noticed that as well.
Yeah, and I've been told that some consumers, let's say, have been a little bit cautious about letting tradesmen into their homes and things like that. But I think construction and trades need to just reassure people that they're going to take like the HIA, the Housing Industry Association, has and probably the Master Builders Association, I would imagine too. They have a set of guidelines in place that you can find on their website to how to correctly and safely isolate or social distance when you're going on site, whether that be for renovation work or new home constructions and things like that. So things like builders are limiting the amount of trades on sites at one particular time, and things like that, and wearing correct protective equipment, face masks, gloves, things like that. So work doesn't need to stop on construction and trades in the construction and trades industry.
And also, I think our construction sites, especially in residential home, they're distant enough. Anyways, if you're a tiler, you're not necessarily working right next door to the cabin.
For tiling, I come from a family of tilers. My dad and my brother, and I mean, usually when it's when a new home build is at tiling stage, usually it's only the tiler or the tilers on the job. Sometimes there might be the painter or even a carpenter
or bobcat driver.
Yeah, even that's rare. For the bulk of the time, that the tiling's going on, it's just the tiler. But that's at that stage of a build, it's easy for the builder to limit. They could even just limit it to only the tiler or the tiling team on site. If there's still some painting to be done, that can be done after the tiler's finished, for example. So and that might mean that to complete the build might take, I don't know, an extra few weeks, an extra month even. But at this point, people need to be flexible to let that happen. I think. I'm sure that's going on. So.
Yeah, like I said, I've got a client who's a tiler as well. Same thing he told me. He goes, builder, one trade per house, per job. So,
right, there you go. Yeah. See, and that's without actually being told that specifically by any builders. That just seems like a logical thing that they would be doing. So, yeah, and I think that's been part of the HIA's guideline as well to manage projects that way.
I was thinking, my son, we can talk about events or places you want to see in your life on your bucket list. Because I was thinking about that today, because I've been watching the Goodwood Festival.
I've never heard of it. What is it?
It's a car festival in England. And what they do is they do like from what I understand, like Guy Karma's up, like they do little short races, time trials, they call it. And I've been watching it lately on YouTube. I suggest you watch it. It is unbelievable, some of the cars they get there. I was watching it and they had Formula One cars, NASCARs, rally cars, just going to do this. And you get to see the difference in time and the drivers, old Fiats, old Lamborghinis, old Bugattis. Is incredible, incredible.
Whereabouts is this?
Well, it's in England somewhere. It's in the UK somewhere.
You don't know what town or city?
Probably Goodwood, I assume. So,
okay.
If you get a chance, just type in Goodwood Festival on YouTube. I tell anyone out there, just have a look. Just have a look. Some of the cars and some of the the drivers that race in these. I think Nick Heidfeld was there. I saw there was a Red Bull race car. I think Daniel Ricciardo might have been there as well. But it looks like because his Renault was there last year. So.
Okay, so it's called the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and it's actually been postponed for 2020. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Now, I like cars, so I know you don't mind cars, but you probably watch it and go, "Well." So it's pretty awesome to see some of these cars do these time trials. I think the record at the moment is 39 seconds on the time trial, and that's done by an electric car, an electric Volkswagen.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Have you seen the motorbike race that they do in
the Isle of Man?
Isle of Man, the TT?
The TT. Those people, honestly, are insane.
What's TT stand for? I can't remember what TT means.
I don't know what it stands for. I've just watched it and I go myself, to say they have no fear is not so. They must be made of stainless steel.
Well, it's every year there's at least one death. It seems like they go flying off cliffs and it's incredible,
absolutely incredible.
I've seen accidents where they've slammed into walls, and we're talking like 250 kilometers an hour type of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They fly over hills and get airborne. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And they're amateur riders mostly, aren't they?
Oh yeah, there was a famous rider. He made the TV show. I forgot his name.
There was a documentary about it. I watched a number of years ago now. Yeah. So anyway, who was this rider?
I forgot his name. He's a famous rider. He does it all the time. But he done a TV show. You can see they're not your standard person. His mindset time is not normal. Like what he does is just like a guy Martin. He's a British motorcycle rider, and he specialises in the Isle of Man. And if you watch this documentary about Guy Martin, you can just look at this guy and you go, "Man, this guy's not normal. He's just got no fear."
It might have been postponed for this year as well, because I'm looking on the website now and it says 29th of May till the 12th of June 2021. So it goes for 2 weeks. It's not a one-off race. They must have a bunch of different categories and stuff. So
that'd be pretty interesting. Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind going to watch that. I mean, I would like to go to Monaco one day, Monaco Grand Prix.
Yes.
I'm just talking purely motorsport now.
I think you'd love that. All right, so events on my bucket list. Obviously, one we've mentioned previously is to go and see the Yankees, and I'd love to go and see the Yankees in the World Series. That would be better. If the buggers would get to the World Series again, would be nice. What else?
Yeah. Even the Super Bowl would be awesome to see as a spectacle. As a spectacle, I mean, that would be amazing. At least you get your money's worth. 4 hours.
It's actually one sport that I've never taken the time to try and understand it. That's the thing. It's never grabbed me.
I had a gentleman explain to me once, and it was like, "Oh, is that all it is?" It wasn't like really complex, but it was. I forgot what he actually told me because it was like 20 years ago. So,
it's too stop and start for me, for my liking. However, having said that, I do love watching baseball, so you could say that's stop and start as well.
That's extremely stop and start.
Yeah, I know, but I just love the intricacies of baseball. And granted, I mostly only watch when the Yankees are playing. If it's two teams and not including the Yankees, show me the highlights. But if the Yankees are playing, I do love to watch. I'm happy to watch the whole game. It's just something about that franchise that I just fell in love with back in the mid to late 90s when they were, going on their dynasty run. And I've loved them ever since. Even
an NBA final would be good to watch. Game 7.
Yeah. Oh, on NBA, Are you up to date with the Last Dance documentary?
100%.
Whoa,
Amazing.
this is awesome, isn't it? I'm loving this series.
I actually watched, like I told you before, I watched a documentary, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. What's it called?
My God. No, I can't remember. It's the 30 by 30.
30 for 30. Yeah.
30 for 30, Dennis Rodman. He's a very complex guy. Like, that's the only word I can use to describe him.
So was it episode 3 or episode 4 of The Last Dance where they would, I think it was episode 3.
With Dennis Rodman? It
was focused on Rodman, but started kind of when he was at Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
I actually never realised, I never knew that Rodman won 2 championships with Detroit.
88, 89.
And they really had the wood over the Chicago Bulls for a good 3 years in a row.
Well, Isaiah Thomas didn't make the 92 Dream Team because of his beef with Michael Jordan.
Oh, really? They couldn't stand each other?
Oh, well, I think Michael couldn't stand Isaiah more than the other way around. Because Isaiah Thomas was a really, really awesome player.
Yeah, but they were thugs, Detroit. Anyway, the way they're portrayed in the Last Dance documentary there.
I think they even admit they were a bit rough.
Well, I think they knew that they were technically not as good as some of the other teams in the league. So the way to counter that was to rough them up. Like the way they played Jordan was to not allow him to jump, basically. So as soon as he would run into the key, just crowd him out and foul him out, pretty much, eh? And it worked.
Pretty much, it worked. And someone made a good point. They go, would LeBron James, how would he have coped against those guys? Because I was like, a really good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about today's game.
LeBron's very strong, isn't he? He's physically a mountain, isn't he?
He's pretty strong, yeah. But
does he have? I mean, I suppose no one in history has had the leap of Jordan, but does he have a pretty good leap, LeBron?
Oh, yeah, LeBron's awesome. There's no question about it. He's just an overall awesome player. Yeah, it's just like, how would a guy like that be in a team of those guys with physically that? I think today's more like foul, from what I can see, compared to what of those guys. I mean, they would have been ejected.
And I love the way the Bulls coach Phil Jackson, when they drafted, or did they draft or trade for?
They traded for
Rodman.
Rodman, they traded for him.
So when he went from Pistons to San Antonio. Did he even spend a full season with San Antonio? I don't know.
Yeah, no, he done a couple of seasons with San Antonio.
A couple of seasons, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then they got him. They were never going to go from. He was never going to go from Pistons to Bulls. I suppose the rivalry was too.
And actually, what they actually said, I think it was in the documentary. I think it was in the 30 for 30 by Dennis Rodman. How the Bulls public actually accepted him because there was fear that they weren't going to accept him as a Bulls player.
Well, like I said, he had that buffer period between the two rival teams, so that I suppose that helps. And he was so good, right? He was just a rebound king, right? He was just a rebound magnet. Hey, those scenes where he juggles those rebounds over the top of other people's heads, it's just amazing to watch. How, the ball was just attracted to him.
And like he'd throw his body on the ground in the crowd.
Well, that's what he said. He was just not afraid to get hurt if that's what it took.
Actually, the other documentary on the 30 by 30 was talking about how much of an animal, and Jordan did bring it up in The Last Dance for a little bit, as a beast of an animal he was for training. They reckon he went out they reckon one night they went out and he drank 40 Jaeger bombs, 40 of them.
I'd be dead.
Yeah, most blokes would be like, and they reckon he woke up and he went training like it just didn't affect him. Most blokes would have been unconscious for hung out for 2 days. They reckon he went to training first thing in the morning, like no effect at all. I reckon for that he was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I just don't get it, mate. I remember when I was playing soccer, I would have to prepare almost, not quite, but almost meticulously, not eat too much and that kind of thing, like say the morning of the game. If I had too much of a big breakfast, I'd feel lethargic. And then I remember one particular player, he'd rock up to a game eating McDonald's. Like coming into the change rooms with bags of McDonald's and Hungry Jacks, and everyone would just be, laughing and shaking their head. He'd go out and take on the whole team and score a goal. It was amazing.
Mm. You get those freaks, and that's what I reckon. Rodman was just one of those guys. When it came physically, and athletically, was a machine. Yeah. Absolute machine. Like, who could drink 40 drinks and still get up to go play training first thing in the and outperform them.
And outperform them, yeah. And I was going back to the manager, Phil Jackson. I was going to say, I loved the way he managed Rodman differently than he managed other players. So, he didn't treat his players like robots. He treated them all individually. So Rodman was an eccentric character. Well, it still is. Was a real eccentric character and had to be given more leeway, more rope.
Yep.
So when he said, "Coach, I need to go on a vacation," and he let him go mid-season, he was going to miss games. He said, "Yep, off. No worries, come back." And they gave him 2 days. They let him go on a 2-day vacation to Vegas. He didn't come back for I think they said 88 hours rather than 48 hours. And Jordan had to go and drag him out of his bed to take him to training. Now, what they didn't say
was with Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra was in his bed. Now, I think what they didn't say in the documentary was that Jordan lived across the road from the United Center, I think is where the Bulls played and trained. So he didn't have to go to Vegas to get him. He was at his apartment across the road. He just had to go and get him. And then he came back and outperformed them in training. Yeah. They did a running drill.
Yeah, he killed him.
And he just killed them. Unbelievable, huh? Freak of nature. Talking about ESPN 30 for 30 documentaries, I just recorded one about the Detroit Pistons. It's called The Bad Boys.
The Bad Boys.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching that. I've got a few recorded on Foxtel. I've got Jordan Rides the Bus. That's the one where Jordan leaves the Bulls and goes for a year or a year and a half to play minor league baseball. Yeah, the Bad Boys about the Detroit Pistons, and there's one about Reggie Miller as well.
I wasn't really a fan of Reggie Miller. I've been saying that I wasn't a fan of the Indiana Pacers. So.
I don't know a lot about him. It's just I was going through the list of what they're showing, and I just went record. I'm getting into basketball now, which is. Have you been after each episode? Have you been listening to the podcast?
No, good.
Well, after each episode, they do a podcast episode with the director. So there's really good information in there as well about how he went about getting the interviews. And we said that when he went to interview Dennis Rodman, he's waiting for him in a hotel lobby. Rodman rocks up like 2 hours late, and he's like, he's saying to him, and Rodman's saying to him, what's this about? What's this for? And he's going, I've already explained to you, I'm doing a 10-hour documentary about the Chicago Bulls. Rodman is just, so flaky, just didn't care. And Rodman goes, all right, I'll give you 10 minutes. But he said in the end, he ended up talking to him for a couple of hours. But yeah. But
the other thing was Rodman, the other 30 for 30 documentary shows he wasn't a very good father to his children.
Was.
No, wasn't a very good father. Yeah.
Well, who did he have kids with? Did he have kids with Carmen Electra?
No, he didn't have Carmen Electra. He had first wife, and he had one daughter. Then he had another boy and a girl with his third wife, actually.
Okay.
So I don't think he was a good father. And even on his NBA Hall of Fame speech, he actually said that. He goes, "For the one regret in life is I should have been a better father."
Mm. So. All right. Now, you said to me during the week that you finished season 1 of The Sopranos.
Yes, I did.
So let's recap. You're way ahead of me now. I'm up to episode 11 of season 1.
Yeah,
have you started season 2?
No, I haven't started season 2. So let's just start.
So what did you think of season 1?
It got better towards the end. A lot better.
Yeah, had to build up. Yeah.
I get some of the characters I'm very frustrated with.
Who?
The mum. I really can't stand his mum.
Yeah, she's off the chart, but She has to. That's her role. That's her character. So
yeah, I think it is. But even her character, her role, I didn't like it. I really did not like it. No. I found her annoying. I found her annoying in the early episodes, and then I came to a hate in the last episodes. I thought, especially when she snitched on Tony there. I thought
about seeing a psychiatrist.
Yeah, but I was like, how dare you, right? How dare you snitch on your son? So you know he's going to get whacked.
Yeah.
And I thought, what kind of mother are you?
Well, in an earlier episode to that, when they're doing a flashback scene, remember Tony's father wanted to go away to start a business in Detroit or something.
Yeah.
Right. And she cracks it and won't allow it. Yeah. So basically that was his chance to get out of the mob.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever they were trying to set up, something legitimate. And she cracked it and wouldn't allow it. And she actually said, I would rather smother the kids and kill them than allow you to go. Right. So she was a psycho, absolute psycho, way back from the early days.
Yeah, I didn't like her at all.
No, she's not a likable character, but she's a brilliant actress. But the way she plays the role,
and when she's and she told her about Artie Buffer, what's his name there?
Artie Booker. How she tells Artie that Tony arranged to blow up the restaurant. Yeah. I thought, gee, man. But this is her character.
But I loved how Tony at the end goes, you want to kill your own son? I was talking to her when she was going, when you get a stroke there.
When she was getting wheeled away in the hospital bed, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a brilliant scene. Absolutely brilliant scene. I don't mind Christopher. I'm glad that other guy got whacked.
Which?
Junior's right-hand man there.
Mikey Palmici.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad
in the poison ivy.
I did not like him.
No, he's a slimy character. Yeah,
slimy character. I didn't like. Who else I didn't like? I didn't mind. What's his name? The one who died. The one who got whacked in the end. What's his name? The couple there. The couple who got whacked.
Altieri.
Yeah, I didn't mind him, but the more I think about it, he was a Jimmy was a rat.
Jimmy Altieri, I think he was a rat. Yeah. It was just, I don't think it was ever confirmed, but it was just too obvious.
Yeah, and they said he said, "Oh God," or "Dear," or before he got whacked.
I can't remember how he got killed.
How they killed him? Sylvia shot him from behind.
Where? I just can't remember this one.
They took him to go see some ladies of the night and.
In the hotel room.
Hotel room, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Was that the final? Is that the final episode of the season?
Second last, I think. It was second last one.
Yeah, I think I'm up to episode 7 or 8.
And I don't like the priest. I can't stand that priest.
Oh yeah. That's just a weird. That's a weird plot line, isn't it? The priest and Carmela.
No, just a priest full stop. No one, I've never been a fan, my feelings on priests. And that doesn't work. For me, it doesn't really work. The priest whole thing doesn't really, I don't get the priest thing. I really don't get the priest.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's showing that Carmela is, feeling guilt about being married to a mafia boss. And, so she's looking for spiritual forgiveness, guidance, whatever. But where she's trying to find that, she's also attracted to this priest. So she's looking for two things, someone who's not Tony, obviously, and spiritual guidance or whatever. And yeah, she's looking for both in the one place, and it's just a weird plot line.
It's a weird plot. That one and that's a very weird plot line. The exchange girl student there, the Sicilian girl.
I'm not up to that. I can't.
That was episode 11 where he's dreaming. He's daydreaming that Cusimano's got an exchange student.
Is that season 1? Yes. Oh, she's just ridiculous. That is Maria Grazia Cucinotta, I think.
That's the one. Yes.
She was Sicilian Miss Italy, I think.
Yeah, she's quite a pretty lady there.
Oh, yes.
not bad. She's an older woman now, but yeah, she's
that's a dream sequence, and
yeah.
I don't like the dream sequences in The Sopranos throughout. There's a number of them throughout the whole 6 seasons. Most of them I find annoying. Yeah, I mean that's just, I suppose, some creative license by David Chase, but I never liked them.
And I don't know. That's what I liked. Was pretty cool. Was when Tony was supposed to get whacked there. How like when Chris pulled up and blocked the two guys from getting out of the car. He didn't realise he just followed the assassination. He followed the way that I like how the screen wrote that. How like Chris pulled up in front of Strachali's there. He walked in. They were going to whack him.
I can't remember it. I'm not up to it and I can't remember it. I mean, I've probably seen it twice before, but it's just everything blurs when you haven't seen it for a few years. And
I actually don't know what I'm not a fan of. Is Chris, what's his name? His missus there, Chris, was it Chris Montanaro? What's his name?
Moltisanti.
Yeah, his missus there. What's Andrea? What's her name? What's her name in the actual TV show? That's a real name, actually. The blonde one.
Andrea De Matteo. Yeah. What's her name in the show?
Adriana,
yes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her. Not a fan of her character at all.
She's actually doing a podcast at the moment. It's just started recently, doing the same thing that Chris is doing with another guy, going through episode by episode and reviewing them. I think they started it at the same time. I listened to one episode and it wasn't great. I didn't like it much, so I didn't get through it.
I don't actually. Not that I don't like her character. She's got like almost too much power over him. I don't actually like her.
Not quite.
But that's maybe a bit later it doesn't. But as in, what I'm saying is, like the whole music deal. You know how they're talking about the music deal?
Oh yes. Her ex-boyfriend or something.
Her ex-boyfriend. Like, what's he doing there, man? You're burning money.
With The Sopranos, I could maybe only season 6 I could tell you, or maybe even season 5. I could tell you what happens when and that type of thing. I haven't got all the it's all in my head, but all jumbled up.
Yeah.
And to put all the puzzles in place, I need to go through and watch the whole 6 seasons all over again, which I've started doing now.
So I'll start doing season. Season 2 this week now. So between The Last Dance and that, I'll get onto it.
Well, The Last Dance comes out. Is it Monday nights they come out?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Oh, hang out for those. It's brilliant.
Really, really cool.
It's probably good that they're drip feeding 2 per week rather than all one big bang. Actually, one show that you need to watch on Netflix is Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. Have you seen it or heard of it?
No, my wife watched it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, Mel, what a show. Hilarious. We're talking about Ricky Gervais, one of the greatest comedians of all time, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Season 2 just dropped, and my wife and I think we watched it in 2 nights. It's only 6 episodes, which go for about 26 minutes each, so it's not a huge investment of time. But start on season 1. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. There's everything in this show. There's absolute piss funny humor. You will wet your pants laughing. It's so good. Make you cry.
Was that someone died? Someone died in his family? Or?
It's about the premise is that he's basically depressed and almost given up on life because his wife died of cancer.
That's it.
Which sounds absolutely depressing, but mate, this show is just the best thing.
Actually, I did watch the first episode of that. My wife goes, watch it, you like it. And I'm like,
it's brilliant, man. It's absolutely genius. This show is absolutely genius. From 1 minute to the next, you'll almost be in tears, to absolutely wetting your pants laughing, to the next scene almost being in tears again. It's so good. It just plays with your emotions. It's sensational. It's so good. It's so good. You just have to watch it. Go back to season 1, episode 1. Start it again.
Yeah, I did watch it. I'll watch it again. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
I can't believe you didn't continue with it. It's so good.
Man, I'm into documentaries.
Oh, it's such a good show. Ricky Gervais is just a genius.
I follow this guy on YouTube named Bored and Bankrupt. You ever heard of him? I don't know if I've spoken to you about
Bored
this
and
guy.
Bankrupt.
No, bald and bankrupt. Bald.
Bald and bankrupt.
No, bald. No. This guy's got no hair, right?
Sounds like
he goes around all like Russia and Moldavia and all these countries. Incredible, man. Get to watch it out. But he just by himself and throws himself in situations like, man, this guy's got he's either mad or he's got no fear.
Is this
I watch all his
Netflix?
YouTube. No, YouTube. Just I always watch YouTube. It's only video, gets 15, 20 minutes. It's all like about old historic Soviet stuff, like Cold War stuff. But anyway, he goes around and just the people he meets, the situation he puts himself into. And it comes down to is he can speak he can speak about 3 or 4 languages. And that's one gift, Simon. I do regret not knowing to speak more languages. Yeah, but I imagine if you could speak Mandarin, Russian, Hindi, Spanish, French, you covered half the world.
Well, I'll get by all right in Spain.
In Spain, you probably get around with, but I mean, as in
mixture of Spanish and Italian, you get by.
Yeah, imagine if you could speak those 5, 6 languages fluently.
Yep,
you'd be Bahasa. Yeah, that's what I said. So if you speak English, Mandarin, Russian, French, Spanish, Hindi, and if you could throw Bahasa in there, and Arabic, there you go. There's 8 languages.
Arabic, yeah. Where's Bahasa
if you
from?
could, Bahasa's Indonesia, Southeast Asia.
Right, okay.
So you got to I look at it this way: if you speak to people in multiple countries, like Indonesia, how many hundreds of millions of people there between Indonesia.
But to learn all of those, what did you mention, 5 or 6 languages? To learn all of those fluently take a lifetime anyway.
Well, funny you say that. I mean, I know a guy. I think it was 8 languages he could speak in the end.
All right, we better wrap up. How long we've been going? An hour.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it just flies. All right, my battery's going to die on my laptop soon, so I've got to convert this to audio and get it up. So. All right,
buddy.
It's been great. Talk to you later on.
Ciao, man.
Ciao.
Palla tagliata, messa fuori, c'è Pirlo, ancora Pirlo di tacco, tiro, gol di Grosso, incredibile, siamo sopra il banco minuto, gol di Grosso, ancora sull'invenzione di Pirlo, molto bravo a trovarlo, grande gol, grandissimo, bellissimo, nulla da fare per Lema, non la vede nemmeno partire questa palla, ma non ci sarebbe mai arrivato, bellissimo. Arriva il pallone, lo mette fuori Cannavaro, poi ancora insiste Podolski, Cannavaro, il contropiede con Totti, dentro il pallone per Girardino la può tenere anche vicino alla bandierina, cerca 2 contro 1, Girardino, dentro Del Piero, uno spettacolo, loro tutti avanti, distrutti, siamo ripartiti alla grande, ha fatto un gol Del Piero, l'aveva sbagliato così nel 2000 contro la Francia in finale, qui non l'ha sbagliato, l'ha messo dentro. È finita, chiudete le valigie amici, si va a Berlino Beppe, andiamo